Welcome to Business Women Australia's radio show, proud station sponsor. I'm Sally Barker. Each week I'll be talking with a leading member of BWA. These inspiring business leaders are very generous in sharing their stories, insights and expertise. Joining me on the show today is Lyn Hawkins, Company Director.
Hi, Sally.
Hello. Now today we're talking about what women in business want. Now you've got some amazing statistics about women in business, and we're going to talk about what they want and why more women are getting out into the workforce and owning their own business.
That's right. Well, it's been a huge growth area. It's phenomenal, the amount of women that are throwing in their corporate roles, and some of them who are not even bothering starting with corporate and setting up their own businesses. In fact, in the last 15 years, I think there's been a 90% growth rate of women-owned businesses. So it's quite phenomenal. It's a huge area. And it's it's an interesting one. So I've been looking at the research as to why women are going and setting up their own businesses. What are they looking for? And what does that mean in terms of businesses who are trying to retain women? But also, what are the things that I'm seeing in women around their attributes and what it is around, how they can be successful and what I'm learning from them. So I've been really enjoying these couple of years working with, shoulder to shoulder with so many women who have made this decision. And some research that I'd really love to share that's actually really, I think, very relevant to what I'm seeing as well is looking at, what are the factors that have been in place that have been the motivation behind them leaving work to go and set themselves up. And the most important thing that is overriding 85% of respondents to this particular survey that was done in the US about 10, 15 years ago, and I think it's still relevant today, but it's the rise of technology. With technology, we can actually set ourselves up from home. We can actually run our businesses from home. All we need is an ABN, and we can pick and choose then the jobs that we want to do. So technology is key. And in fact, a large percentage of women that have set themselves up in business are in technology, what they call technology industries.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and what sort of businesses are we talking about? So technology.
Well, when you think about it, online, any business that's run online is a technology-based business. A lot of digital services are all, in that technology field. IT, web development. Even now, digital content production would probably put themselves in that technology space as well as marketing. So a lot of businesses can be mobile, but there are also businesses that are set up. I was talking to Julie Adams yesterday. She's the Telstra Businesswoman of the Year. She's got her and her business partner have set up chemo from home. And a lot of her workforce are, obviously health practitioners, health professionals that are, qualified to go into people's homes. So they're actually, a lot of those are contractors and have set up their own business to supply to her business. Some of them are employees. In my own world, in marketing, strategic marketing, a lot of our consultants are people that have their own ABN and come in and deliver marketing director kind of roles. And so they're their own business as well. So technology's enabled this. So it's created a very fragmented, lean business canvas that can be run. And as a result, these are all business owners. And the ones that are really loving this are women because they're able to then pick and choose the work that they want. So this research actually did show that after technology, which was their first and foremost reason for wanting to set up, was that they wanted to be involved in more strategic work where they really were able to have more control and more mastery over using their talent and their skills, So take that compared to someone who might be, may have left the workforce for a while to have children, then they come back part-time. A lot of those women were then not getting the plum jobs. They were getting paid less and more in a sort of middle level or administrative kind of role where their talent and their experience wasn't being utilised. So that compared to actually setting yourself up as a consultant and picking and choosing the work that you want and then creating a team, that might even be a diverse team all working from home. Look at how Businesswomen in Australia, we don't have an office. We're all have a virtual office environment and we're all women that are running our own businesses to a large extent that have collaborated to create another company. So it's really interesting to see these new ways that women can actually participate in the workforce but have their own businesses as well.
I think that's what we are seeing, isn't it? We're seeing women running their businesses from home, but also having collaborations with other like-minded women.
Yeah. And that's really key to success. And I'll talk a little bit about that later on. But one of the other things I thought was really interesting in this research was that women felt that leaving their businesses to start up their own business was another wealth creation strategy. And recent research that's come out has again confirmed that, women are really behind the eight ball when it comes to building their superannuation. They're behind the eight ball when it comes to their overall income that they've earned over the years, and their savings, their investments, and the financial literacy. So by going out into business, what I've recognised is wrapping some of those financial literacy skills around them is not only helping their businesses, but it's also they're starting to think about their own personal wealth development and their wealth management and wealth creation and long-term thoughts around exit strategies too. Am I going to be working like this forever? Or how can what do I need to be doing? Katie McDonald from Empire Group Financial is a fabulous financial planner. She does a lot of work with women. We were talking about this yesterday too. We're going to run a session on wealth creation and thinking more long term around retirement planning for women, because when they're out in their businesses, one of the things that you can sometimes forget to do is actually top up your super and have your investments in place, because your business can sometimes be such an absorber of all the finances that you're not thinking long term, and then you're stuck at the end of the day, stuck in the business, or you haven't got the independence that you need. So these are issues. So wealth is one of the drivers that they actually want to create wealth. They want to have an opportunity to impact on strategic issues. They want flexibility and the opportunity to take risks with new ideas and to test themselves and their personal limits. I mean, we're human beings. We want to always be growing and learning and having a crack at doing something different. It's a part of making life exciting. So these are really interesting reasons why women leave their companies. And business ownership really does give people more satisfaction. We've found that through research as well. Certainly the women that I'm working with that have gone out and setting up their own businesses are really enjoying it. While there's a lot of concern around, especially those early stages during startup where, you've been used to that big corporate salary and all of a sudden, you're at a lower income and a lot of the money that you're earning is getting sort of put back into the business to grow it. There is a time when it can be a bit scary, but certainly business owners, once they've made that shift, find it very hard to go back.
Yeah. I know an amazing lady in Melbourne, and she speaks about having to start her own business. Her husband lost their business and, they lost all their money, and she thought that she would go out and, she was very trained in her area to be a coach. And after the first year, she'd made $8,000 in the first year, and she realised, we can't survive. So then she changed the way she thought. She created some new products, and now she earns in excess of $1 million a year.
And that's a great story. And she's probably hit on the formula now, sharing that formula with other people. She's sharing the formula with
other people, yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, I think being around these women, this work that I'm doing with Business Women in Australia has been a great advantage for me. What I'm loving about being around these women that have gone out and they're experiencing success, they're very highly opinionated. They're very strong with their views on things, but very open to learning. They're sharing their stories, and what I'm loving is that a lot of the themes within what they're sharing is around that strength of being female, which I love. It's been depicted as normal and valuable rather than remarkable. I think that they really want to see boys and girls recognising that women and men are vulnerable as humans. We're all vulnerable, and we're all on a learning journey, but it's a great balance between our masculine and our feminine strengths. We all have that. And I'm getting exposed to these kind of new ways of thinking and this new language that I'm around, and I'm loving that.
Mm.
You know, it's a real eye-opener for me, because in the corporate world you don't really talk about those sorts of things.
No. And I think in previous episodes we have spoken to other women, and they've said about constantly that the changing environment and, you know, being disruptors and innovators and those sorts of words that keep coming out, being your own genius and, you know, things like that. And I think that's what you're talking about. In the corporate sphere, you don't talk like that.
No, and you don't often get the opportunity, unless you're lucky to be in a strategic role, to be asked to be contributing to something where your ideas can be shared and be a part of the business growth. And I think as business owners, one of the real challenges is how do we bring our whole team, or more of our, not just our business owners, but our leaders within the organisation, to come to the table with their ideas, so that we can actually really become bigger than the brain set of those who own the business. And that's a really important thing.
Well, that's a skill you need to develop, to feel comfortable and use it, and having that confidence to actually put your ideas forward, isn't it?
That's right. You know, a lot of change champions can be sitting inside an organisation that were never asked. When I was leading up a quality initiative at KPMG many years ago, I'll never forget the receptionist at the time. We got her involved in a process improvement team, and she said to me, you know, Lyn, once upon a time I used to park my brain down at the bottom of the elevator and we'd come up to the 28th floor. We were in Central Park in those days, and I'd come up to the 28th floor and turn it off, because all I was paid for was to look good at the front desk and to answer the phones. But now I'm involved in this process improvement team. She actually became a really key person that looked at actually improving our whole online booking for travel type of process. And it was around the time when those sorts of new technologies were coming in. She drove that. And she had a great cross-divisional team, and she was trained in how to lead that team. And I got a phone call from her, this is 25 years down the track, the other day, and she said to me, what a wonderful environment. That experience working at KPMG in those days was her benchmark for every other business that she worked with, because she was asked to come and contribute to the success of that business.
Well, that's a great story. That really is.
It is, and it says a lot. And, you know, these women that I'm around, they see challenges as opportunities. They have a great mindset. They're not afraid of hard work. They involve people in their decision making. As you said earlier on, they collaborate. They develop alliances and partnerships. And the most successful ones have this beautiful view of abundance. You know, what they see is we create an abundance, and we bring growth, and we grow market share, we grow things by working together instead of seeing everyone as a competitor. You know, can we join forces and grow something bigger here? And I love that about them. They don't seek perfection, and they like to break down the big problems into smaller bite-sized chunks. This is something I've learnt about a lot of the women that are very successful in running their businesses, is they're never overwhelmed by how big the scale is. You know, they're able to break things down into manageable steps. And, you know, these are great strengths that that women, you know, what they want is to have that ability to take that strength and all their attributes and put it into place. So for those businesses who want to retain their women, create the environment that gives them those opportunities. Otherwise, they'll be out there and they might be your next biggest competitor, or they might come and say, let's merge.
Well, I think, you know, the takeaway from that is in the 15 years up until 2002, women going into business for themselves had grown by 90%. I think that's extraordinary. So thank you so much for sharing that with us on Business Women Australia's radio show, Company Director Lyn Hawkins.
Thanks, Ellie.